money game has one fundamental rule that nobody tells you. Everyone loses eventually. Every fortune crumbles. Every empire falls. Every portfolio crashes. Every safety net develops holes. You can win for decades and lose it all in a moment. You can hustle yourself into exhaustion and watch it evaporate. It can be stolen. It can devalue. It can disappear. The system guarantees it because the game isn't designed for you to win. It's designed to keep you playing. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Today's activation is the Infinite Player, an activation for transcending the money game. I just got done reading Bustin' Loose from the Money Game by Robert Scheinfeld for like the second time, and his ideas have influenced me greatly, and I wanted to share these concepts through an activation. Understand when it comes to money that you've been playing a game you can never win. Not because you're not smart enough, not because you're not working hard enough, but because the game itself is rigged and you rigged it. You, the infinite being hearing these words, you set this whole thing up. The anxiety you feel about bills, the constant calculations in your mind, the mental spreadsheet that runs in the background of every decision. You constructed this elaborate prison and then convinced yourself you were born into it. The money game has one fundamental rule that nobody tells you. Everyone loses eventually. Every fortune crumbles. Every empire falls. Every portfolio crashes. Every safety net develops holes. You can win for decades and lose it all in a moment. You can hustle yourself into exhaustion and watch it evaporate. It can be stolen. It can devalue. It can disappear. The system guarantees it because the game isn't designed for you to win. It's designed to keep you playing. And the part that helped me rearrange my neurons is that I already knew this, and so do you. Some part of you, some deeper intelligence beneath the fear and scrambling already knows you're playing a game you created. As I'm being activated to this awareness, I want you to be. The stress that you feel is not about survival. It's about forgetting who you really are. So let's stop pretending. Let's pull back the curtain on this grand illusion you've spent lifetimes perfecting. The money game operates on a simple premise that you've internalized so deeply, you think it's reality. There's not enough. Not enough to go around. Not enough for you. Not enough time to make it. Not enough left after everyone else takes their piece. Scarcity is the gravitational field of this entire game. And you've been moving through it so long, you think it's just how physics works. But scarcity is a choice. Not a casual choice. Not a surface level decision, a profound, foundational choice made by an infinite being who wanted to experience limitation so completely that it forgot it was choosing limitation at all. Think about the absurdity of this for a moment. You are consciousness itself. The same awareness that's hearing these words is the same awareness that's generating the words. The same awareness that built the ears hearing my voice, that constructed the entire nervous system processing this information. You are the field in which all experience arises. And this unbounded, limitless creative force decided to play a game called, what if I'm not enough? What if there's not enough? The money game gives you a perfect vehicle for this forgetting, because money is not real. It's a collective hallucination we've all agreed to participate in. Numbers on screens, pieces of paper with dead presidents, entries in databases that shift and change based on pure belief. You could have $1 million in the bank and lose access to it with one computer glitch. You could have zero and manifest a fortune tomorrow. The whole system floats on nothing but agreement. Yet you've given it ultimate authority. You've let this phantom dictate your emotional state, your self-worth, your freedom, your choices, your relationships, your health, your time. You've handed your power to a shared fiction and then suffered under its supposed reality. And you did this on purpose. You, the infinite player, contracted yourself into the finite player specifically to have this experience, to feel lack so convincingly that you'd forget abundance is your nature, to feel powerless so completely that you'd forget you're the author of every limitation you experience. The mechanism is brilliant. The game makes you believe you're getting money from somewhere. From a job, from a business, from investments, from other people. This creates the fundamental illusion that you're a separate entity in a world of other separate entities, all competing for limited resources flowing from external sources. But you're not getting money from anywhere. You're generating it, not in the hustle and grind sense, in the consciousness creates reality sense. Every dollar you've ever received appeared in your experience because you, as infinite consciousness, collapsed probability into that specific form. You earn it in the way you think. You didn't attract it in some cosmic vending machine transaction. You actually created the entire circumstance, orchestrated every element, cast every character, wrote every line of dialogue that led to the money showing up. And you hid this from yourself so well that you think it happened to you rather than through you. Let's examine the rules of the money game, the ones running in your subconscious like background programs. You must work hard to deserve money. The more you sacrifice, the more you struggle, the more legitimate your earnings. Easy money is suspicious, wrong, undeserved. This rule keeps you in constant effort, constantly proving yourself worthy. You must be practical, realistic, responsible. Dreams are for children. You need backup plans, safety nets, insurance against all the terrible things that could and will happen. This rule keeps you in fear-based decision-making, always protecting against loss rather than expanding into gain. You must manage, budget, save, be careful. Money is scarce and can disappear at any time, so you must grip it tightly. Watch it carefully, ration it wisely. This rule keeps you locked in competition, in separation, in the illusion that someone else's abundance diminishes yours. You must be grateful for what you have because it could always be worse. You don't want too much, don't expect too much, don't reach too high. This rule keeps you settling, accepting limitation, making peace with less than what you truly desire. These rules feel so obvious, so self-evident, so much like just how things work that questioning them seems naive, childish, irresponsible. That's how you know they're working. The best prison is the one the prisoner defends. But you never agreed to these rules. Not the real you, not the infinite player. The character you're playing agreed to them. The role you're performing signed the contract. But the awareness behind the role, the consciousness animating the character, the infinite being hearing these words, you never consented to any of this. You're playing a game where the scoring system is inverted. In the money game, success means accumulating more, but accumulating more requires identifying more deeply with the limited self, which takes you further from your infinite nature, which increases suffering, which creates more need for the comfort and security that money supposedly provides, which drives more accumulation. It's a perfect loop, a perpetual motion machine of seeking. And you can hustle harder. You can optimize better. You can compound your returns and diversify your portfolio and build passive income streams and create financial freedom. All of this happens within the game. Some positions in the game are more comfortable than others. Some strategies are more effective than others. But it's still the game. You're still playing with a limited self in a world of scarcity, trying to get something from somewhere, believing your well-being depends on the outcome. The money game makes you feel like you're solving problems when you're actually just rearranging furniture in a burning house. Because the house is burning by design, impermanence is built into every aspect of the game. Everything you accumulate will be lost. If not today, then eventually. Your portfolio will crash or you'll die. Your business will fail or you'll sell it. Your salary will end or inflation will devalue it. The game always wins. The house always burns, unless you realize you're not in the house. You're the space in which the house appears. So who are you really? Beneath this character grinding through the money game, you are the field of awareness in which all experience arises. You are not a separate entity bouncing through an external world, collecting and losing resources. You are the entire generative matrix from which the world, the resources, the entity, and the apparent separation all emerge. This is the direct, immediate, undeniable truth of your experience when you actually look. Every sensation you have ever felt arose in awareness. Every thought, every emotion, every perception, awareness. The entire world you know exists as patterns of knowing within consciousness. Your consciousness. Not consciousness in your head, consciousness as the fundamental ground in which everything, including your head, appears. The money game exists entirely within you. The numbers in your bank account, the consciousness, the bills you need to pay, consciousness. The anxiety about making ends meet, consciousness. The entire economic system with all its complexity is just consciousness. None of it exists outside of the knowing of it. It's all patterns in the infinite field, and you are the field. When you recognize this, when you actually see that you're the space in which the game unfolds, rather than a player trapped in the game, everything inverts. You don't have financial problems. You have consciousness playing the pattern called financial problems. You don't need to make money. You have consciousness taking the shape called making money. The entire drama, with all its tension and release, its struggle and achievement, its fear and relief, is just consciousness dancing with itself. And you, as the infinite player, can step out of identification with the limited character at any time, not by leaving the game. You can still play, you can still participate, you can still interact with the money system. But you stop believing the game is real in the way you've been believing it. You stop giving it authority over your state. You stop contracting into the limited self that needs protection, that fears loss, that grasps for security. This is what Robert Scheinfeld calls busting loose in his amazing book, Busting Loose from the Money Game, recognizing that money is part of phase one, the illusion. The game, and that you as infinite consciousness are phase two, the reality that created the illusion in order to have an experience. From the phase two perspective, money isn't something you get, it's something you generate as needed, just like you generate something else in your experience. You don't need strategies to attract it because you're not separate from it. You don't need to worry about losing it because you, as infinite consciousness, can lose anything. You're the source from which everything arises. The phase one game would have you believe you need to figure out how this works. What's the mechanism? What's the technique? How do I make consciousness generate money? But that's still playing the game. That's still the limited self trying to use spiritual concepts as better strategies for winning. The actual shift happens when you stop trying to figure it out and simply recognize what's already true. You're already generating everything in your experience. You've already been doing this your entire life. Every dollar that showed up, you created. Every opportunity, every connection, every circumstance, you orchestrated all of it as the infinite player directing the entire game. You weren't doing it consciously because you were identified with the character who thinks things happen to them. But the character is just a role you're playing, a very convincing role, a role you've method acted yourself into so completely that you forgot you're acting. But you can wake up mid-performance. You can perform, you're the author, the director, the stage, and every actor. You can keep playing the role while knowing it's a role. This is the freedom that the money game can never give you, because freedom in the game is always conditional, always dependent, always vulnerable to circumstances. You're financially free until the market crashes. You're secure until the economy collapses. You're stable until the currency devalues. The game has no permanent wins. But freedom, as the infinite player, is unconditional. It doesn't matter what happens in your game. Your well-being doesn't depend on the score. Your identity doesn't rest on your performance. You're the space in which all of it unfolds, untouched by any of it, yet intimately present for all of it. The money game runs on cause and effect. You do certain things, money results. You don't do those things, money doesn't result. Work equals pay. Value equals competition. Effort equals reward. The whole system is built on this perceived causation, and it's completely backwards. Consciousness doesn't respond to cause and effect. Consciousness creates the appearance of cause and effect. The work doesn't cause the money. The consciousness creating your experience generated both the work and the money as a unified pattern. The value you provided didn't cause the payment. Infinite consciousness collapsed probability into a form where value giving and payment receiving appeared to be connected. This is why the money game makes no sense when you really examine it. People do the same work for wildly different pay. People provide less value and make more money. People hustle endlessly and stay broke while others coast into wealth. The system pretends to be fair, pretends to be logical, pretends to operate on clear principles, but it's chaos wrapped in a story of order. Because the game isn't about actual causation. It's about maintaining the illusion of separation. As long as you believe you must do something to get something from somewhere else, you stayed locked into the identity of a limited self in a world of other separate entities. The doing and getting keeps you playing. But you as infinite consciousness don't operate in linear cause and effect. You operate in simultaneous holistic creation. You don't create cause and then wait for effect. You create the entire pattern of cause and effect as a unified whole. The work and the money, the effort and the reward, the service and the payment. All of it arises together as one movement of consciousness. When you see this, when you actually get this, the game collapses in on itself because you realize you've been trying to manipulate effects when you're actually the source creating the whole field. It's like a character in a video game trying to figure out the game mechanics to beat the game, not realizing they're in a game, not realizing someone outside the game is controlling them, not realizing they are that someone. You've been trying to win the money game using the rules of the money game, which keeps you in the money game, which keeps you identified as the limited player who needs to win the money game. The loop is perfect. The trap is seamless until you stop, until you step back until you recognize that you're not trying to escape a prison. You're recognizing you were never actually confined. The money in your bank account doesn't exist because you earned it. It exists because consciousness is taking that form in your experience. The bills you need to pay don't exist because you bought things. They exist because consciousness is generating that pattern. Your entire financial reality is a manifestation of consciousness, your consciousness playing a game with itself. And you can change the game at any time, not by trying harder within the game, but by recognizing you're the one generating the game. The infinite player can recalibrate the entire experience, not through force or strategy, but through just simple recognition that you're in the game. How do you break through? How do you get out of the game? How do you bust loose? How do you step out of the money game while still functioning in a world that uses money? You stop taking the game seriously without denying it exists. You play without investing your identity in the outcome. You participate without believing the participation determines your worth. This isn't pretending money doesn't matter while you're drowning in debt. This is recognizing that even the drowning in debt is consciousness taking form. And you as infinite consciousness are not drowning. You're generating the entire experience of drowning, the entire experience of debt, the entire experience of anxiety about it. The character in the game might be drowning. The role you're playing might be in debt. But you are not the character. You are not the role. You are the infinite player who created the character and the role to have a specific experience. And you can change the experience, not by fighting with it, not by resisting it, not by trying to fix it from within the game, but by withdrawing your identification from the limited self and recognizing yourself as the source. This recognition alone doesn't happen through thinking. The mind is part of the game. The mind is a tool the infinite player uses to navigate the game, but the mind can't comprehend what's beyond the game. It would be like asking a video game character to understand the person holding the controller. The character is made of pixels. It has no frame of reference for hands, rooms, reality outside the game. The recognition happens through direct experience, through actually noticing that every single thing you've ever experienced appeared in awareness, through seeing that you've never known anything outside of consciousness, through realizing that the external world is a concept arising in consciousness, not an actual separate thing. You don't have to take my word for this. You can verify it immediately. Whatever you're experiencing as you listen to this, the words, the sounds, the room around you, the sensations in your body, the thoughts commenting on all of this, where is it all appearing? In awareness, in consciousness, in you. And that awareness, that consciousness, that you, it has no limits. The limited self is just a pattern within unlimited awareness. The character with financial problems is just a form consciousness is temporarily taking. But you are not the form. You are the formless in which all forms arise. When you recognize this, when you actually see this, the money game loses its grip because you see it's all a play. A drama you wrote, directed, and starred in, and you can rewrite it at any time. This is where people usually want the technique, the manifestation formula, the specific steps to take this recognition and turn it into money. But that is still the game talking. That's still the limited self trying to use infinite truth for finite purposes. The infinite player doesn't need to manifest money. The infinite player is already generating all of it. Every dollar that exists in your experience, you created it. You don't need a better creation method. You need to recognize that you're already the creator. And when you do recognize this, when you stabilize in this recognition, money starts showing up differently. Not because you're doing some technique, but because you're no longer blocking the natural flow with resistance, fear, control, and grasping. You're not trying to get money anymore. You're allowing consciousness to take whatever forms it takes, including the form of money flowing into your experience. But here's the key: you stop caring if it does or doesn't. Not because you've given up, but because your well-being no longer depends on it. The infinite player is already whole, already complete, already abundant. Money might show up in the game, might not show up in the game, but either way, you're fine. You're free. You are untouchable. This is the paradox that breaks the game. When you no longer need money to feel abundant, abundance floods into your experience. Because you're no longer vibrating at the frequency of lack. You're no longer emanating the energy, I need this thing from out there to be okay. You're resting as the source, and the source generates everything effortlessly. Effort in the game becomes play. Work becomes expression. Money becomes energy, flowing through rather than something you're chasing. Because you know it's all you, all consciousness, all patterns in the infinite field, and you're the field. This doesn't mean you stop participating. The infinite player can enjoy the game once they know it's a game. You can still build businesses, make investments, earn money, manage resources, but you do it from freedom rather than from need. You do it because it's interesting, creative, engaging, not because your survival depends on it. And when you play from freedom, you play better. You make clear decisions, you take aligned action, you create from inspiration rather than desperation. The game becomes lighter, easier, more fun because you're not carrying the weight of your identity on the outcome. So let's actually do this. Let's start the process of reclaiming your power from the money game. First, acknowledge what you've created. Every aspect of your current financial situation, the income, the expenses, the debt, the savings, the anxiety, the relief, all of it, you generated as infinite consciousness, not to punish yourself, not because you're doing it wrong, but because the infinite player wanted to have this specific experience of limitation. You contracted into this character with this financial situation to experience what it's like to be this person dealing with these circumstances. And you've been playing it brilliantly. The stress feels real. The lack feels real. The need feels real. You've convinced yourself so completely that you actually believe you're this limited being subject to financial forces beyond your control. But you're not. You're the one creating the forces. You're the one generating the limitation. You're the one holding yourself in this pattern. And you can release it. Not by fighting it, not by fixing it, but by seeing through it. Second, start catching yourself in the game. Notice when you're identified with the limited self, when you're taking the money game seriously, when you're believing your well-being depends on the numbers in your bank account. Just notice. Don't judge it. Just don't resist it. Just see it happening. Oh, I'm playing the game right now. I'm believing I need to make this money or something bad will happen. I'm contracting into fear about bills. I'm identifying as the character who's struggling financially. The noticing itself creates distance. The awareness of the pattern is already outside the pattern. When you catch yourself playing the game, you're already the infinite player observing the limited player. You're already free in that moment. Third, practice resting as awareness. Throughout your day, pause and notice what's here before the game, before the thoughts about money, before the emotions about your financial situation, before the story about struggle or success. What's here? Awareness, consciousness, the space in which all of that arises. You can't do this wrong. You can't practice it incorrectly. Just pause and notice awareness is here. I am this awareness. Everything else is content in awareness, but I am the awareness itself. This simple recognition repeated throughout your day starts to loosen the identification with the limited self. You begin to stabilize as the witness, as the space, as the infinite player, and from that place, the money game looks completely different. Fourth, act from freedom. When you need to make financial decisions, make them from this place of recognition rather than from fear or grasping. Ask yourself, if I knew I was infinite consciousness playing a game, what would I do here? If I knew I couldn't actually lose anything because I'm the source of everything, how could I choose? You might make these same practical decisions, but you'll make them from a different place, from freedom rather than from fear, from play rather than from need, from creative expression rather than from desperate survival. And fifth, trust the process. The infinite player set this all up perfectly. Every circumstance, every challenge, every apparent problem is part of the game you designed to wake yourself up. So trust it. Trust that even the difficult moments are serving your awakening. Trust that even the financial stress is showing you where you're still identified with limitation. The game will continue for as long as you want to play, but you'll play it differently once you know you're the one creating it. You are not who you think you are. You are so much more. You are the infinite consciousness, hearing these words, generating these words, creating the entire experience of listening and understanding and responding. You are not a limited being struggling with money. You are the unlimited source playing at limitation. You can stop playing at any moment. The money game will still exist. The economic system will still operate. Bills will still need to be paid. But none of it will have power over you anymore. None of it will define your worth or determine your well-being or dictate your emotional state. Because you know what you really are. You are the field in which all experience arises. You are the consciousness from which all form emerges. You are the infinite player who created this game of limitation. To experience what it's like to forget your infinite nature. And you are remembering these words, this activation, this entire transmission is you remembering yourself. You created this activation for that purpose. Not learning something new, but recognizing what's always been true. You were never actually in the money game. You were always beyond it, watching it, creating it, playing with it. And you can live from that recognition starting now. Not sometime in the future when you've mastered the teaching. Not after you've achieved financial freedom by the world's standards. Now, this moment, because you're already free. You've always been free. You just forgot while you were busy playing the game. So welcome back, infinite player. Welcome back to your true nature. Welcome back to the recognition that you are not bound by anything you experience. You are the space in which all experience unfolds, untouched by it, yet intimate with all of it. The money game continues, but you're no longer trapped in it. You're the awareness watching it, generating it, playing with it. And from that place, everything becomes possible. Not because you're trying to manipulate reality, but because you recognize you are reality, taking infinite forms, experiencing infinite possibilities. This is your natural state. This is what you've always been. And nothing in the money game, nothing in the entire world of form can ever change that. You're home. You've always been home, and you're finally recognizing it. The game is over when you realize you're not just the player. You're the one who created the game, the board, the pieces, and the rules. And you can play however you want, or you can stop playing and simply be. The choice has always been yours, because you're the infinite player, and you always will be. You can join the Reality Revolution tribe right now at school.com. Right now we're offering a free 7-day trial. You can join for 7 days for free, no obligation. We have exclusive content, weekly coaching sessions, and an amazing community. I want to see you there. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. I'd love it if you checked out my art. You can find it at www.newearth.art. And welcome to The Reality Revolution. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm Brian Scott, and I have a huge announcement. I'm so excited to finally let you know that on February 27th at the Newark Airport Hilton, we're holding a 3-day immersive meditative experience designed to create the most profound transformation possible. We created this event specifically because so many of you couldn't make it to the LA event. We got to work, and after looking everywhere, we found the Newark Airport Hilton to be the most central and reasonably priced location. You don't just learn about timeline shifting, you actually do it. You don't just understand the concepts philosophically, you embody them. On Friday, we start with activating your pineal gland, your gateway to higher consciousness. Then you meet your higher self and learn to quantum jump into your greatest timeline. And by the end of the day, you will do my most powerful meditation where you actually become your future self from that greatest timeline. We get together for a group karaoke and sing-along and a community celebration because joy and connection are just as essential to your transformation as the deep work. This is your invitation to step into the life that's calling you forward. Let's do this together. I can't wait to meet you. Once again, it's www.brianscottlive.com/February-2026.